Hello and welcome to yet another video. This is the 5th episode of the story, in which the author finds himself/herself in an alternate reality where she knows everything that will ever happen. She is encouraged to err on the side of caution. But where's the fun in that? Find out what happens when you throw a crazy, self-centered Naruto fan into the Sarutobi clan. Please like and subscribe to show your support. Let's get the show started. Hiruzen blinked, and blinked. The exercise amused Yugao, but she didn't show it. Dante and Naruto, however, were openly smirking. The Hokage couldn't believe what he just heard. You know what, scratch that he could believe it, but... Can you say that again? Dante's smirk turned cheeky. Which part? Asked Dante. We left, we saw, we rocked. Be specific, old man. Hiruzen glared at Dante hotly. You're pushing it, brat. Dante blinked. I'm a bat? I didn't know, I said. Brat, gritted Hiruzen. Dante smirked. Sorry Hokage-sama, I don't speak aged fluently. Hiruzen took a deep breath and prayed for patience, or for God to give his grandson some manners, any kind of manners. He actually waited a second for an answer. He got none. Dante smirked cheekily when his grandfather groaned. He really should stop. Yeah, that's going to happen. His grandfather, however, spoke before him. To Yugao, why would you even suggest this? Yugao had to bite the inside of her cheek so she didn't laugh. When they returned from rescuing Dante's dad, she presented her report and a proposal. The look on the Hokage's face was clear. Are you sure you're feeling well? Perhaps she wasn't, who knows? They did very well, Hokage-sama. Hiruzen twitched. I am not arguing their potential, said the Hokage. You want to put these two in ANBU? Dante cooed. Ah, you're worried about us. Thanks, old man. Naruto stifled a laugh and copied Dante's expression. You truly are a kind old man, Hokage-sama. Naruto wiped a tear. You're like very fine wine. Dante could see Hiruzen's patience reaching its limit. He had two choices, keep pushing or use one big bomb. Stopping wasn't an option Dante considered. This was for a good cause. His grandfather dealt with stiffs and paperwork all day. He needed a little crazy in his life. So what to choose? Decisions. Yeah, right. Oh, if only your equipment grows at all, said Dante, you would be a perfect grandfather. Sasuke watched the Hokage's gaze turn murderous. Within seconds, Dante and Naruto were spotting huge bumps on their heads. Of course he knew that will only stop them for a moment. His best friends were like wolves, they never give up their prey. The Hokage probably doesn't know this, but his friends just found fresh meat. He shook his head. What am I going to do with these two? Thought Sasuke. Hiruzen stared at Yugao intently. I am not against them joining ANBU because they aren't competent, said Hiruzen. They may be ready for ANBU, but ANBU isn't ready for them. Naruto blinked. I don't get it. The old man took a long draw. Still facing Yugao, he continued, your team has known each other for 3 years only. I am still coming to terms with their escapades. Now you want to sick them on the ANBU Black Ops. I can't afford to have my elite unit go crazy or resign. Not to mention, Danzo and Dante is a terrible combination, thought Hiruzen as if summoned Shimaru. Danzo waltzed in. Hiruzen groaned internally. This is the last thing he needed right now. However, perhaps fate will be kind to him and nothing will happen. He could hope, right? We have important matters to discuss, Hiruzen, said Danzo. Sasuke saw Dante's fuse erupt. His best friend could take a lot of things, disrespecting his loved ones wasn't one of them. He shared a look with Yugao. Get ready for fireworks. Yugao was already bracing herself, then the comment came. It's kind of pathetic how you're always coming here, Mummy-chan, said Dante. Your kind is playing board games at the home. Danzo stared at Dante. He didn't consider his rival's grandson important. So he wasn't going to bother himself with a child. Sasuke nearly groaned when he saw Danzo's dismissive look. He knew Dante, a look like that was a challenge. Dante never turned down a challenge. This was not going to end well. Dante adopted an absent and haughty expression. Sasuke wasn't sure how he pulled that off. "ANBU Commander Shimaru Danzo," said Dante, "we must be lacking commanders. Intentionally? Danzo could take a lot of things. Insulting his merit and sacrifice wasn't one of them." He turned to glare at Dante. "Children are meant to be seen, not heard," said Danzo. "Ones like you shouldn't even be seen." Dante's expression didn't change as he replied, an adequate description of yourself, Danzakan. "Who did you steal that from?" Hiruzen knew he should stop this. He didn't see this matchup ending peacefully. However, he was enjoying it. Watching Danzo go up against his grandson in a pissing contest and lose was a tempting picture. Maybe he should let it go on for another minute or two, purely from an analytic point of view, of course. Danzo, however, was not finding this amusing. If it wasn't being used against him, he would have been impressed. Dante's knowledge of his affairs, intellect and ability to word his sentences to maximize impact, it was similar to his grandfather. The only difference being Dante did not have his grandfather's edge. "And you must be?" asked Danzo. Dante faced his grandfather, dismissing Danzo. "Your lackey is lacking information, grandfather," said Dante absently. "Perhaps he needs to be changed." Naruto couldn't take it anymore. He dropped to the floor, laughing hysterically. Dante had just suggested Danzo wore diapers, and that he was incompetent. Hiruzen hid his smile. He had kept his family out of Danzo's circle. So the old war hawk knew nothing about Dante. In their line of work, information is half the battle. Oh, he knew Danzo will start digging after he leaves here. But he will forever live with the fact that a 9-year-old beat him in wordplay. That alone will grate on his rival's nerves. "Of course I could make it worse," thought Hiruzen. "Mira and Dante are a terrible influence." "You mentioned a matter, Danzo," said Hiruzen absently. "If you've forgotten, I am in a meeting." Yugao had to take sharp breaths to stem her laughter. Watching Shimaru Danzo fumble over how to take back control that he lost to a child was too funny. Finally the old war hawk harumphed and exited, like he had better things to do. When he left, everyone, including Hiruzen and Sasuke, laughed their hats off. At the back of his mind Hiruzen thought, maybe having Dante join ANBU won't be so bad. It will make Danzo's life hell and he will make the agents human. They will be crazy, but human. Once the moment ended, the Hokage got serious. He knew the team standing before him. That's the reason he was reluctant at first. However, the gains outweighed the losses. He, however, wasn't about to let them do as they like. Certain rules had to be followed. Oh, he knew Dante and Naruto will not follow those rules. Dante had once said that he loved rules. You can't be a rule breaker if there are no rules to break. He decided to face Yugao. "I am going to give you some rules," said Hiruzen. "They must be followed to the letter." Dante smirked. "I solemnly swear to disobey every one of them." Sasuke sighed. "Please continue, Hokage-sama," said Sasuke. "Ignore the lunatic." Dante glared. "Who are you calling a lunatic?" Naruto smirked. "Are you denying that you're crazy?" "Of course not," said Dante. "I prefer the term mentally free." Everyone's sweat dropped. Sasuke didn't even know where to begin. Hiruzen continued unabated. Dante's personality had to be handled in short episodes. "My first rule, no one is to know their identity. ANBU will know that 3 recruits are joining them. The village will be told that you're taking remedial classes. I know your mothers will not believe me, so you can tell them the truth. I rather not have Mira and Mikoto disturbing my day." Dante snickered, afraid of 2 mothers half your age. "For shame, grandfather, for shame." Yugao coughed, swallowing a laugh. Sasuke whacked Dante upside on the head. Naturally the boy should be angry. Instead he said, "Sasuke, ask me out first, then we can work on a safe word." "Sheesh, you're impatient." Sasuke was torn. He couldn't decide whether to kill Dante slowly or quickly. Slowly would bring satisfaction but allow Dante the chance to keep annoying him. Killing him quickly would be the most appealing option. Yugao, however, intervened before Sasuke could attack. Ma pacified Yugao. "Let's behave for a moment. shall we? Dante pouted. You're no fun, Hiruzen sighed, taking a long draw from his pipe. He continued. You will get your missions from me. Regardless of how your encounter with Danzo went, I don't want you around him if you can avoid it. Dante raised his hand. He wore a curious expression. What if I get bored and I need fresh blood? Hiruzen thought about it. He decided, answering that question wasn't worth it. Yes, we'll give Dante license to always be bored. No, will be ignored. So he continued unabated. When you are not on missions you will be in school, said Hiruzen. You are still technically academy students, Dante gasped. I completely forgot. How is Iruka sensei? Hiruzen snorted. He's recovering. I should have made you clean up the classroom. Dante blinked. Why, was the classroom dirty? Naruto crunched his face in thought. The room was clean when we left. Maybe something happened after we left. Dante stared at his grandfather. He could see that he wasn't buying their innocent act. It was the difference between him and his father. Daisuke always crumpled when he played innocent, Hiruzen did not. Of course he had taken full advantage of his dad's soft spot. Hey, someone had to train his father to resist soft looks, who better than his awesome son? Why would anyone want to grow up? Kids have all the fun, thought Dante. Hiruzen continued. I expect you three to follow the standard ANBU behavior. That means I expect you to keep a low profile. Dante smirked. Seriously? I thought you would have learnt we don't do low profile by now, old man. Hiruzen sighed. That'll be all. From today you will team Ryu. When they left, Hiruzen stared at Yugao. He wore an exasperated look on his face. Are you really sure about this? Yugao smiled. It's either this or unleash aboard Dante and Naruto on the village. Not even Sasuke and I will be able to contain them. Hiruzen had to physically refrain from sighing. He had been doing that too much this morning. He was starting to wonder why he hadn't retired. He knew that Yugao was right. Aboard Dante alone was disaster, but to combine that with aboard Naruto, the chaos would be devastating. The problem now is, he had unleashed Dante on the world out there. Well, better them than us, thought Hiruzen. Now on to that other matter. So Sasuke unlocked his Sharingan, Naruto can draw the Kyubis easily, and Dante now has 2 new weapons, said Hiruzen. Yugao nodded and he groaned. He decided to ask a question that he didn't really want the answer to. How bad will these additions make them? Yugao smiled. Honestly? Let's just say it's a good thing they won't be bored. I can only imagine what kind of pranks Dante will pull if that happens. Hiruzen groaned. Grandkids are supposed to be easy. Yugao couldn't help but laugh. I suppose you will be in charge of their training, said Hiruzen. Dante said he has some ideas, said Yugao. Knowing him, it will be effective. That is if it doesn't kill them. Hiruzen sighed. I wish you the best. You're going to need it. Yugao smirked. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I wouldn't change them for anything, you know. Hiruzen scoffed. Yes, they have a way of doing that. My wife called Mira a lovable annoyance. The name applies to them too. With that, Yugao left. Hiruzen couldn't help the sliver of excitement that coursed through him. Dante and his friends may be trouble personified, but they kept things interesting. If only someone else was dealing with the cleanup, thought Hiruzen, it will be perfect. Uchiha household Itachi was enraged. It may sound impossible given his disposition, but it was true. He was fuming out on the patio. Mikoto always knew when Itachi's mood changed. It was a skill she developed out of necessity. Itachi was not the type to burden anyone with his problems. With Sasuke, all she had to do was ask him, sincerely, and he opens up. Itachi was a bit more complicated. Understatement, thought Mikoto. He is such a martyr. With Itachi she had to silently support him and wait for him to open up. The process was far more complex than Sasuke's. It required reading Itachi's minuscule body language. She met him in the patio and sat down beside him. Her first break came when she saw his hard posture soften, then she gave him a hug. A few minutes later Itachi completely melted into her arms. He may be a prodigy but he was still a kid. She maintained her silent support until Itachi sighed. Here we go, thought Mikoto. One sigh, thank you for being there. First twitch, I really could use your help but I don't want to bother you. Two sighs, I really need your help, please don't be angry with me for burdening you. Second twitch. Mom, asked Itachi, can I tell you something? Mikoto had to hold back a smirk. Itachi was so cute when he thought he had to be an adult. She refused to let her amusement show though. Fugaku thought Itachi got his ability to hide emotions from him, bah. She maintained her gentle expression, of course sweetie, Itachi sighed, he could really use someone to talk to. It's about our clan, Mikoto took a breath. If she jumped to answer Itachi will think she wasn't talking him seriously. She always enjoyed talking with Itachi, he made it challenging. Itachi may have inherited her emotional control but Sasuke had her love for challenges. Stroking his hair she replied, I'm listening sweetie, Shursui and I talked with a few of them today, started Itachi, we wanted to know what the clan's true intentions are. Mikoto frowned. She knew her son. A few was an understatement, this just became interesting. She had to tread lightly, one slip up and heavens knows what will happen. What did you find out sweetie? They tried to sugarcoat it but we read their body language, said Itachi, they don't want respect or power. They want chaos. Their desire is to show the world the strength of the Uchiha. And you don't understand why, asked Mikoto. She could see that is what's bothering him most. Itachi is a gentle child. So finding out that his clansmen were bloodthirsty and power-hungry would be intense. His first question would be, why? Why would they want such a thing? She saw Itachi's eyes grow clouded as he replied, no I don't, said Itachi, the only outcome I can see is a civil war, like the one in your heart, asked Mikoto. You're torn between loyalty to the village and the clan. Mikoto waited a long moment. If her ears weren't trained she wouldn't have heard his reply, I don't want to kill anyone, said Itachi, I don't want to kill the clan to save the village. Mikoto sighed. Now she knew the cause of Itachi's anger, the clan was pushing him to do the unspeakable, for no logical reason. Every time she thought about this situation she got pissed too. The clan was giving the village the impression that all Uchiha were bad. And she honestly couldn't blame them. The only sensible Uchiha alive right now are Shursui, Sasuke, Itachi and herself. Fugaku could no longer be called sensible. She rested her head on Itachi's and pulled him closer. I hate it too, said Mikoto, sometimes I wish I could beat some sense into them. Itachi was surprised. He always thought his mother would support the clan no matter what. He never thought she despised their attitude as much as he did, much less admit it. It made the pain in his chest lighten, he wasn't alone. Maybe together they can find a way out of this. An idea tickled the back of his mind, it brought a smile to his face. He decided to share it, they could use some humor. Maybe we should run away, said Itachi, I can imagine the look on father's face. We could form a clan of sensible Uchiha, let them deal with their issues. Itachi smiled when he heard his mother's laugh. It was one of his favorite sounds. When the spell passed he saw the calculating look in her eyes and the mischievous smirk on her face. Why don't we? Asked Mikoto. Itachi blinked, he did not see that coming. 1. You would leave father? I will always remain your father's wife, said Mikoto, when I agreed to, for better or worse, I meant it, so what are you saying? Asked Itachi. Father will never leave the clan. Mikoto's smirk turned sanguine, not voluntarily, said Mikoto, how would you like to pull a fast one on your father, sweetie? Itachi was starting to see why the Hokage took his mother so seriously. It appears she was not a gentle housewife. He smirked. I thought you'd never ask. Sarutobi compound. No, declared Sasuke. Dante smirked. Oh come on Sasuke, it's for a good cause. Yeah team, said Naruto. What's life without a little fun? Yuga walked up to them. Judging from Sasuke's expression Dante had just shared his plan. She decided to ask what it was. Dante's retarded plan isn't worth talking about, gritted Sasuke. Dante gasped, I resent that, Sasuke. My plan is tardedra, not retarded. That's not a word, said Sasuke. Dante smirked, I've told you before, every word that exists previously didn't exist. It would be so easy. Sasuke knew it would be so easy. All he had to do is press a kunai to the nape of Dante's neck, and push. That's all it would take. All his problems would vanish with a simple push. Dante sighed dreamily, beloved, your murderous glares are the wind beneath my wings. They only lift me higher. Naruto cooed, and they are so adorable. Yugao stifled her laugh. Sasuke looked like he was going to pop a blood vessel. She had to admit, Team Ryuha never has a dull moment. Not with head cases like Dante and Naruto. But they had some things to discuss. Playing would have to wait. First things first, what's the plan? Asked Yugao. Sasuke growled, Looney here wants to prank the Hyuga clan. Dante pouted, you make it sound less epic. Yeah team, said Naruto, pranking the Hyuga clan is major stealth training. Tebeo. Yugao blinked, you're kidding, right? Dante scratched his cheek, well, we need to first experiment with the other clans. Yugao knew she shouldn't ask. She really shouldn't open that box. Curse her curiosity, what clans? Well, just the Inazuka, Aburame, Nara, Yamanaka, and Akimichi. You see, when I say that it doesn't sound too bad, does it? Yugao was stunned. She stared at the innocent look on Dante's face. At least Naruto was openly smirking with evil in his eyes. Dante just looked like he just gave a weather report. The lunatic wanted to prank all the major clans, for training? Are you crazy? Asked Yugao. Dante rolled his eyes, how many times will I answer that question? You need to learn how to keep up, you know. Can I kill him? Asked Sasuke. I promise to clean up afterwards, the backlash won't be worth it, declared Yugao. Find a way to do it with minimal blowback and we'll talk. Dante's sweat dropped, I'm standing right here. Naruto laughed, they know. Yugao sighed. You said you had some ideas for your training? Dante perked up, I did? Asked Dante excitedly. Sasuke growled, yes you did. Dante adopted an understanding gaze. Looking at Sasuke he said, that time of the month, huh? Sasuke turned to Yugao, I can claim temporal insanity. Yugao shook her head, too many people know you're not crazy. The cleanup will be messy at best. Ah Sasuke, I love how deeply you're thinking about me. Naruto smirked, you know he's thinking of how to kill you, right? Dante waved his hand dismissively. Details, said Dante, that's just how he shows his love. Do you have a plan or not? Asked Sasuke. Dante blinked, was I supposed to have one? Naruto laughed hysterically as he watched Sasuke pound Dante. The scene never got old. He knew Dante enough to know why he loved driving Sasuke crazy. It helped strengthen Sasuke's character and personality. This way Sasuke knew who he is and what he stands for. The other reason is, it was too fun to resist. After the beating was done, Naruto asked slyly, so I guess Dante's doesn't have any ideas. Dante glared, bite your tongue, Whiskers. So what is it? Asked Yugao, and please just say what it is. Mao, that's no fun, said Dante. Alright minions, listen up, the best way to use our new abilities is by sparring. We attack each other and Yugao with intent to kill. That's not too bad, said Naruto. Sparring is fun. It will also help us know our strengths and weaknesses. I'm still not used to him being so smart, said Sasuke. I know, right, said Dante. Naruto growled at them, don't push it. Dante blinked, which one, your brain or your patience? Sasuke smirked, both are very short after all. Ma pacified Yugao. Anything else? Oh yeah, I was thinking we can work on our elemental chakra. I also need to start researching the swift release. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, said Naruto. So how do we work on our affinities? Dante smiled, well, that's simple. We use our elemental affinities to create a vortex. Without hand seals, you are thinking elemental manipulation and not control, said Sasuke. We need to learn how to first control our affinities before we go into that. Dante waved the concern aside. Hogwash, said Dante, why walk first when you can fly? Naruto's eyes lit up. Can we actually fly? Dante smirked. Absolutely. Sasuke twitched. Alright, crazy, how do you suppose we go about doing this? Dante blinked. How should I know? I just come up with the plan. The details are your thing. So team, how do we go about doing this? Asked Naruto. Yugao could see Sasuke twitching madly. Was it wrong that she found it amusing? Oh well, perhaps she should help him out. In the ANBU library there are scrolls on elemental manipulation. I'm sure you three can find some help there. Naruto groaned. Why does it have to be a library? Yugao smiled. To make sure rash people can't find it. Naruto blinked. Why would people with a rash go to the library to Bayo? You can't be that stupid, said Sasuke. No one is that stupid. Dante gaped. No one but him apparently. Naruto growled. You two are asking for it. Well, of course we are asking, said Dante. How can you be that stupid? We are genuinely curious. Yugao held Naruto back. They had some other things to do. When the blonde was calm enough she said, I need to give you 3 your ANBU marks. Just take off your shirts so I can place them on your upper arms. Cool, said Naruto. So, is there like an initiation process? No there isn't, said Yugao. A superior simply places his hand on your shoulder, forms a seal, and voila, your mark is formed. Naruto deadpanned. That's so? Anticlimactic. So you know what anticlimactic means but you don't know what rash means, said Sasuke. I think his brain works on intervals, said Dante. That would explain why he is an utter dolt sometimes and smart other times. Ma, let's just get this done, shall we? Asked Yugao. You still have to inform your mothers. Then you have to get ready for school after the weekend passes. Dante smirked. So many pranks to pull, so little time. Life is so unfair. Sasuke snorted. Yeah, you were born. I wasn't born, said Dante. I'm from an alternate universe. The conception and birthing process drove me crazy. Needless to say, no one believed him. Pity he was actually telling the truth. Oh well. After they received their marks, Yugao sent them off. Mira and Mikoto were so proud when they heard the news. Mikoto also told Sasuke about the plan she came up with. Sasuke was impressed and very interested in helping out. So all in all, it was a good day. Yugao actually felt that the weekend would pass without incident. She was wrong. 2 days later, Hokage's office. Sasuke felt sorry for the Hokage. The old man was rubbing his forehead in frustration. It made him wonder if that's what he looked like. He had really tried to get Dante to behave this weekend. But stopping Dante from causing chaos was impossible. Sasuke thought that if they spent the weekend studying, Dante wouldn't get bored. The good news is that they studied. They were able to find elemental manipulation exercises and they sparred to get a feel of their abilities. If that's all that happened, it would have been a great weekend. Of course, Dante still found the time to cause chaos. What's worse is Naruto joined him. It was that fact that brings Team Ryu here today. Hiruzen stared hard at Dante. He should have known that he wouldn't stay still. The brat was just smiling innocently, like he didn't know what was going on. He drafted paperwork to have Dante sent to an asylum. However, he just knew that that would lead to more problems for him. Perhaps fate would have mercy on him and a talk would set him straight. If not, he stared at Yugao, he would be his team's problem. Sighing, he took the plunge. Dante, please explain yourself, said Hiruzen. Dante blinked. He was having so much fun it should be illegal. Maybe he should. I don't understand, Hokage-sama, said Dante politely. He put that thought in a box for now. Hiruzen wasn't fooled. He took a long draw from his pipe. You pranked Asuma, stated Hiruzen. Dante frowned. What? Why would I do that? Are you saying that the incident is not your fault? I am insulted you think I would prank my uncle, whom just got back from the daimyo's palace. I mean, he may have missed Konohamaru's birth and more than a few of my birthdays. He may also have never written once to me or my little brother. But why would I ever prank him? I understand his reason, he was too busy. Hiruzen groaned. Dante inherited his mother's vindictive streak. He knew why Asuma never wrote. Being a guardian took its toll, he wouldn't have had time to breathe let alone write. At some point he would have justified his actions with that ever-useful excuse, I will make it up to them. In normal circumstances Asuma would have had his work cut out for him. However, Dante was not a normal boy. When he returned 2 days ago, Dante played with him like nothing happened. Of course he and Mira knew it was a setup, but Daisuke didn't. Sometimes his son's belief that everyone was good blinded him. You doused him with highly concentrated pheromone, said Hiruzen. He was chased by every animal in the village for 20 hours. I still have complaints from the Inuzuka and Aburame clans. Your uncle had bugs in places bugs should never be. Dante scratched his cheek lazily. How was I to know that that tank was filled with pheromone? Who dumps a tank of liquid on their uncle? Asked Hiruzen. Dante pouted, I thought it was filled with cigarette sticks. It was supposed to be a surprise. Naruto choked on a laugh at the same time Sasuke facepalmed. Hiruzen just gaped at his grandson. He didn't even know where to begin. In the end he decided to move on. Some battles should be avoided. Okay, please explain the posters you made yesterday. Dante blinked. They were meant to help. Hiruzen twitched. They begged the public not to make fun of Danzo's bucket collection or my pony addiction. Exactly, stated Dante, I didn't want people to make fun of you. Besides, it wouldn't have been fair to mention Danzo's problem without mentioning yours. Hiruzen instantly got the message. Danzo's actions are intertwined with yours. He knew his loved ones have been warning him to stay away from Danzo. He had refused to listen before out of love. However, now he couldn't distance himself because he was the only one who can watch Danzo. The War Hawk was too shrewd to be watched by anyone else. Danzo was his responsibility, no one else's. You made everyone believe I like ponies. Danzo is also not pleased with the posters. Dante frowned in confusion. I'm sorry, you think I care about how Danzo feels? What gave you that impression? Hiruzen sighed. His biggest problem with Dante wasn't his pranks or his craziness. It was the intelligence. Dante had a way of making insanity seem intelligent. Dante had just given him a warning, distance yourself or else. Clearly Dante didn't care what Danzo did, so the only causality will be him. He really hates how much his grandson resembles his mother. Sparta Mira is a force to be reckoned with. She may have kept a low profile for her teammates' sake. But to the sharp eye, her potential and sheer brilliance stood out. Shikaku could always count on her as an excellent Shugi opponent. And it seems as though her son is following in her footsteps. You are exactly like your mother, said Hiruzen. Dante wasn't expecting that. The tone was both annoyed and happy. Apparently his grandfather knew his mother's potential too. That explains why he always listened when she spoke, even though she is retired. It made him happy to know that he had his mother's traits. She has always been his hero, especially when he found out she was a Sparta. Thanks, said Dante sincerely. Hiruzen sighed. He handed Yugao a folder. That's Team Ryu's next mission, said Hiruzen. I love you but please leave. I need some peace and quiet. Dante and Naruto saluted. Understood, old boss, they said. Hiruzen twitched. The boys were then thrown out the window. Sasuke laughed. It felt good to see them suffer for once. Yugao sighed affectionately. They were such a handful. Turning to the Hokage, she said, I assume you want us to take the long route home. That would be the best, said Hiruzen. I will have another mission ready when you return. Yugao laughed. Understood, Hokage-sama. XXXX, I'm sorry, could you say that again? Asked Arrow. Cloud smirked. After they left the Hokage's office, the team had gone to prep for their mission. They were currently on the road, fully equipped. Kat was just about to give them their mission specs when Cloud made a comment. They all stared at him incredulously, much to his amusement. I said I am going to act normal from now on, said Cloud, for the next 2 months or more. Arrow's eyes narrowed suspiciously. Why? Too many people know I love pranks and general craziness, so your plan is to what? Make them believe you're normal? Asked Sonic. Cloud smiled innocently. That is exactly right, said Cloud, I need some time to chill. What's the catch? Asked Cat. Cloud gasped, don't you trust me, senpai? No, stated Cat, that's exactly why I need to be normal for a while. You want people to lower their guard around you, realized Arrow, then when their guard is lowered, you return, Cloud deadpanned. Sometimes Arrow's intelligence was a pain. He was however half right. The other reason he needed to be normal was a bit more complicated. He loved walking the line between sanity and insanity. However, recently that clear line had started to blur. It was only a matter of time before his Sparta genes took him to a place he did not want to be. His love for chaos stemmed from a darker desire, for mayhem and death. Cloud was not crazy enough to believe he can control his genes, so a break was essential. He of course denied Arrow's accusation, but no one believed him. Besides, they had other matters to attend to. So Cat-senpai, what's the mission? Asked Sonic. We are to track down the wizard, said Cat. No, seriously, what's our mission? Asked Arrow. Cat sighed. 2 days. The Fire Treasury discovered 60 billion Rio missing from their accounts, along with thousands of bogus mission payments and reports. Her team blinked, and blinked again. Cloud finally spoke up with a gleam in his eyes. Okay, now that's cool. Arrow ignored him. Facing Cat, he said, they just discovered 60 billion was missing? Yes, replied Cat, they don't know how it happened. In fact, they only discovered the missing money by accident. The daimyo had ordered the vaults opened and counted. It took a few months. What about the mission statements? Are you saying someone robbed Konoha? Asked Sonic. That appears to be the case, said Cat. The payments were credited but the accounts have no psychical cash in them. That amount comes down to 25 billion. So 85 billion in total, said Cloud. Now I see why they call the culprit the wizard. Please tell me that we have more to go on than that, said Arrow. Cat sighed. Unfortunately, the only other information we have is that the money never arrived at the treasury. So what does that mean? Asked Sonic. It means that the wizard intercepted the cash from the mint, said Cloud, so he knows the routes and how to use them for his benefit. Yeah, the feudal lord is pissed. And rightly so, said Cat. Millions of lives are affected by this. Also, if word gets out, the chaos would be irreversible. No one will trust Fire Country again. Welcome to Team Ryu, everyone, groaned Arrow. So what's the plan, Tebeo? Asked Sonic. Our first objective is to check the route the mint uses to deliver cash to the treasury. Said Cat. Alright then, let's go, said Sonic. No kidding, Captain Obvious, said Arrow. Cat smirked. Even she had to admit, this mission was heavy. But after spending so much time with these three, she realized something. Heavy was their specialty. 3 days later, Dante was getting impatient and bored. It was not a good combination. The desire to cause chaos was threatening to consume him. For the past 3 days he had kept his promise, he acted like a normal person. It felt so weird, and Sasuke sometimes looked at him with wonder. Sasuke had asked him if he was okay. At the time Dante said he was fine, which was a lie. The team had been to almost all the routes the treasury took and they had found nothing. It was beginning to grate on Dante's nerves. Last night Yugao had taken him aside to talk. Flashback. Yugao was concerned. She knew Dante was trying to be normal, for reasons best known to him. However, his new personality was affecting the whole team. Dante's normal personality was calm and relaxed. It made their interactions awkward to say the least. Sasuke couldn't understand him, so he avoided talking. Instead, he focused on silently observing him. Naruto tried his best to liven up their quiet days, but without Dante's input and Sasuke's cool it fell short. Team Ryu wasn't fun anymore. If this was from only 3 days, she didn't want to imagine 2 months. It was time for an intervention. So what's up, Cat-senpai? The team was camping near a cliffside. She had asked him to meet her at the edge. To the casual observer, Dante looked calm and relaxed, but she had known him for over 2 years. She knew this new change was taking its toll on her friend. Her team had a dynamic. It made her feel safe and loved among them. She had made peace with the fact that two of her best friends were lunatics. She needed her crazy friend back, they all did. "Dante, why did you decide to change?" asked Yugao. "Please be honest with me." Dante twitched. He knew she was serious, but he wasn't sure she would understand. He knew that he could ignore her question or give her some made-up reason. The only problem with that is Yugao is sharp, she knew him too well. The truth was he didn't know how to explain his decision. He had chosen this path out of fear that he would cross a line. It was almost funny. He loved crossing boundaries, yet he was scared of crossing this one. "Dante, please." "Dang it," thought Dante, the tone Yugao was too much. He sighed in resignation, he was going soft. "I am not sure you would understand." Yugao was relieved. She smirked cockily. "I'm a smart girl," said Yugao. Dante chuckled. "I think Sasuke and I have been a bad influence on you." Yugao chuckled, then she became sober. "So?" Dante sighed. "Fear is what made me decided to be normal." "Fear of what?" asked Yugao. "Fear of crossing a line," said Dante. "You know I'm not all there upstairs. What you don't know is that I hold back. My love for chaos and pranks is only a substitute for a darker desire for mayhem and death. My genes are constantly screaming for a thrill, and my ability to hold back was slipping." "So you decided to shut down completely," said Yugao, "and how has your genes been handling that?" Dante scoffed. "Not good." "Let me guess, the desire is amplifying instead reducing." "Yeah." Yugao was shocked. She knew Naruto had a dark side, the Kyuubi. She was also aware of the Uchiha curse, the Hokage had informed her of it. So she knew Sasuke had a dark side too, but she never thought Dante did. This wasn't the time for guilt, her friend was struggling and he needed help. She didn't know what having a dark side was like. But she was an ANBU agent, so she knew what having a darker side meant. There was a reason long-term ANBU members didn't function well in a normal society. Team Ryu had been her salvation. Perhaps, Dante, I don't know what you're going through. But I know what it's like to fight to not be the person you keep locked away. Do you know what helps me? Dante sighed. He knew, Team Ryu, exactly. You three are my best friends and you save me every day. Team Ryu needs you to be yourself. Dante. Sasuke and Naruto miss their best friend, and so do I. What happens when I lose it? I don't know, said Yugao, but I believe it was you that said Sasuke kept you sane. The way I see it, Dante, it is up to you to decide. Is being with your friends worth this risk? Flashback, and of course he knew the answer. The problem was he didn't know how to deal with this. Could he really give in and trust his friends not to run away? Could he force this burden on them? Sasuke had to deal with the Uchiha curse of hatred and being Indra's reincarnate. Naruto had to handle the Kyuubi, who was hatred personified. He once believed he could be their leader. Someone they could look up to, someone who would take care of them. The truth was he took responsibility for them. He wasn't sure they would be able to handle his own issues on top of their own. If canon repeats itself because I couldn't handle my own issues, I don't know what I would do. Thought Dante. In the end, that was what he was truly afraid of. Naruto and Sasuke were heavily involved with him. So if something happens and they didn't know how to handle it. Arg, I can't take this anymore, thought Dante, that is it, screw it. I am not about let fear dominate me. I am Sparta. Bloody Dante. Now how do I let my friends know that I'm back? Of course he could always just tell them, yeah, that was too boring. If his genes were going to push him over the edge, then he will just have to control them. If Naruto could learn how to control the Kyuubi, then he could control his dark side too. Now what to do? That just might work. They were tree-hopping with him at the rear, Cat in the lead and Sonic and Arrow at the sides. Jumping faster, he approached Arrow with a smirk. Arrow, what? Marry me, declared Cloud. Everybody stopped dead in their tracks. Arrow blinked and blinked again. They all simultaneously took off their masks, including Cloud. Sasuke was gaping. What did you say? Dante blinked, tightening his head. He said, well, despite the number of girls who like you, you never give them a second glance. I figured you must be gay, so I decided to ask you to marry me. Purely because I don't think there are any other gay guys in Konoha and I don't want you to die alone. Naruto broke first, a snort quickly dissolved into full-blown laughter. Yugao covered her mouth and tried her hardest not to join Naruto. Sasuke could feel that all-familiar twitch in his eyes. It seemed Dante was back. Sasuke would never admit it out loud, but the past 3 days had been difficult. He sighed dejectedly. There goes my peace and quiet, said Sasuke. I was just getting used to it too. Yugao smiled. It's good to have you back, Dante. Heck yeah, said Naruto. Annoying duck butt is never fun without you. Dante blinked and smirked. Just so we're clear, I gave you all the chance to see me without my craziness. You all, however, decided that you like me like this. So I have decided to stay this way. You guys would be lost otherwise. Yugao rolled her eyes. You can gloat later. We are close to the next route. Lead the way, gorgeous leader, said Dante. We're following you, cutie-senpai, said Naruto. Cutie-senpai, nice one, Naruto. Sasuke shook his head. Yugao smiled at the compliments. She knew she was beautiful, but it still felt good to hear someone say it. However, as happy as she was to have her best friend back, they needed to focus. She had a feeling this route was the route the wizard uses. After 3 days of searching, she was able to put some clues together. When they arrived at the road, the team spread out to look for clues. As usual, they didn't find anything, but Yugao had an idea. Sonic, I need you to draw on your tenant's chakra. Sonic blinked. Huh? I have an idea, Sonic shrugged. Drawing on the Kyuubi's chakra was easy, and thanks to his amulet he didn't have to deal with the hatred, at least not with this amount. When Kat saw his fingernails lengthen, she told him to stop. Arrow and Cloud were both eager to see just what her plan was. It made her feel good to know that her team trusted her this much. I want you to use your sense of smell. If Sonic wasn't confused before, he definitely was now. What does my sense of smell have to do with this? I have the feeling the wizard has an underground passage. It explains how we were unable to find any clues at any of the routes we checked. Again, how does my sense of smell affect this? Underground passages leak air out and suck air in. I want you to focus on the natural scent around this area. Once you have that, try to find any area where that scent is mixed in with something else. Cloud turned to Arrow in surprise. Did Senpai just turn Sonic into a bloodhound? Arrow was just as surprised as he was. The plan was solid that he agreed. The surprise was the plan itself. He had never thought Sonic's ability could be used like that. But the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. Sonic's tenant was a fox after all. The team watched as Sonic sat in a meditative stance and inhaled. Cloud wasn't sure what to expect or if the plan would actually work. However, to his surprise, Sonic shot up. You're right, said Sonic. The ground 4 meters in front of that tree is giving off a weird scent. Define weird, said Arrow. It smells like a damp room, said Sonic, and last time I checked there are no rooms in a forest. Yes there are, declared Cloud. You can use the forest as a bathroom or even a bedroom. Arrow made the Arrow serious look. Not that Cloud could see it. I am not even going to dignify that with a response, said Arrow. But by responding you have already dignified it. Shot. Cloud, sensing an argument coming, Cat stepped in. Cool it, ordered Cat. Normally Cloud would have stopped there. But he had been holding back for 3 whole days. With what? Asked Cloud. There is no water around here. Unless there is something you're not telling us. Cat twitched. She glared at Cloud. Cloud, go and open the latch. Cloud blinked. I may consider you a friend, but I am not touching your bra latch. The smack resounded in the forest. Arrow's hand was still raised. He was contemplating murder. Seriously, what kind of brain did his friend have? He was starting to think Cloud had no filter in his brain, if he had a brain. Cat just sighed. After 3 days of silence, she had almost forgotten how annoying Cloud could get. She decided to just open the latch by herself. Once it was open she found why Sonic said the place smelled like a damp room. The tunnel beneath her was dark and wet, somehow the floor was covered with water. Before she gave the order to jump down she grabbed a rabbit. Sonic and Cloud were horrified and dropped into the water. Her reason was simple: if that water was poisonous the rabbit would die. Thankfully the little bunny looked just fine. With that out of the way she jumped into the tunnel followed by her team. Sonic and Cloud immediately went after the rabbit and consoled it after the trauma it experienced. There little guy, cooed Sonic. Yeah, don't mind the mean cat lady, said Cloud, she's just jealous of your fluffiness. Exactly, she's jealous of how easy cuteness comes to you, said Sonic. Arrow twitched in anger. He grabbed the rabbit, chucked it out and shut the latch. Sonic and Cloud were horrified at his display and they told him as much. Team, how could you? Asked Sonic. Sasuke, that was terrible, chided Cloud. Shut up, growled Arrow. Cloud sniffed. Sonic, let's say a prayer for Mr. Rabbit. Cat watched her lunatic say a prayer for a rabbit. She didn't know whether to be amused or annoyed. Thankfully it was short because Arrow looked ready to burst a blood vessel. After the prayer she instructed her team to get ready. They activated their senses and discovered that they were in a labyrinth. The amount of traps and dead ends ensured that anyone who didn't have a map would either get killed or lost. The labyrinth was massive in size with twists and turns everywhere. Did the wizard build this? Asked Sonic. I doubt it, said Arrow. According to history, there are a lot of places like this in Fire Country, said Cat. The wizard is simply taking advantage of it, first the cash and now this. The wizard has to be among Fire Country's higher-ups, said Cloud, which means we have a traitor, said Cat. I don't like this, said Arrow. If that's true then think about the security surrounding him. Sonic smirked. Are you scared, Arrow? Arrow growled. Think about it, idiot. It's possible we will be fighting people who are under orders. Sonic blinked. What does that mean? We are under orders to catch the wizard, said Cat. The security may also be under orders. So it's possible we will be fighting allies. And if we lose we will be branded as traitors who went after a high official, said Cloud. Oh, said Sonic, exactly, we need to focus on evidence first. That way if we lose the truth will still be revealed, said Arrow. If the wizard is as smart as we think, that will be impossible. Said Cloud, we need to catch him alive. It's our only shot. For now let's focus on clearing this labyrinth, said Cat. We will worry about our plan when we have more information. It had taken them 2 days to cross the labyrinth. They used their senses to avoid the traps and dead ends. As for finding which path to take, Sonic's sense of smell was a godsend. Halfway through the labyrinth he caught a whiff of nature. They were able to use that to determine how to cross the labyrinth. However, as they crossed, Cat couldn't help but be concerned. The level of traps and dead ends, both the natural and artificial, showed serious intelligence and skill. She knew the intelligence was from the wizard but the skill had her worried. She knew her team was strong but the opposition was without a doubt experienced. After 48 hours in a dark labyrinth, Cloud was happy when Naruto pointed to a latch above them. If he hadn't pointed it out to them, they would have no doubt missed it. Cat asked him if he smelled anything else. Sonic was new to this so he wasn't able to make sense of much. But he was able to smell humans, a lot of them. So the team prepared for anything. Cat jumped first. She used her chakra to stick to the roof of the tunnel. Opening the latch slowly she peeked around. Is that a mansion or a palace? Thought Cat. The building was huge. Cat used her senses to try and get a baseline. She found dozens of people in the building. There were some patrolling the area too. Thankfully she couldn't find anyone around this area, yet. Quickly she jumped out followed by her team who quickly shut the latch. They quickly made their way to a treetop and settled there. From the looks of things they were on an island, which explains the water in the labyrinth. The first question is, how to get information in this place without drawing attention. Can't we just grab someone like we did in Grass? asked Sonic. We don't know the system here, said Cat. The wizard is smart. If he suspects a tiny differential we lose the element of surprise. My mom told me that I can use the Sharingan to delve into a person's mind, said Arrow. Cat raised an eyebrow. That's possible? Arrow shrugged. Apparently it works like a Yamanaka clan jutsu. The catch is I can't use it on someone with a strong mind. I don't have the training, so we have a bloodhound and a mind reader, said Cloud. I love this team. Sonic surprised everyone by raising an intelligent point. But would someone with a weak mind here really know anything important? Okay, how do you do that? Asked Cloud. How can you be so dense and yet have intelligence? Sonic was torn between being angry and smug. He settled for smug. I'm just that good. At what, being dense or smart? Asked Arrow. Because I'm starting to get confused. Cool it, said Cat. We need to focus. Besides, Sonic is right. Okay, so what are we going to do? Asked Arrow. There are too many people here for a direct approach to work. Cloud suddenly had an idea. Arrow can read the minds of one of the patrols. The objective will be to find out where they are not allowed to go. We'll see if we can do the same thing inside the mansion too. How does that help? Asked Sonic. Like you said, the weak ones won't really know anything. But they know where they are not allowed to go, said Cloud. We check those places first. Why don't we just cut off the head of the snake? Asked Sonic. Katzenpai can locate him by finding the most guarded person in the mansion. That may not be a good idea, Sonic, said Cat. We are completely in the dark right now, so assumptions won't get us anywhere. Besides, the most guarded person may be a decoy in case the mansion is breached, said Arrow. Sonic pouted. Fine, we'll do it your way. Like you have a choice, said Arrow. You realize this was my idea, right? Said Cloud. Arrow blushed. Cat smirked. She knew he was embarrassed, but they didn't have time to tease him now. Oh, but she knew Sonic and Cloud will never let him live this down. They located a patrol easy enough and Arrow went to work. He found out why his mother had instructed him not to try it on a shinobi. The technique was a dangerous game of push and pull. He could feel his target's mind resisting the intrusion. It was hard but not difficult to get what he wanted. It made sense why torturing the mind helped. It softened it up. The dangerous side was that a strong mind against a green Sharingan will switch the effects. The last thing an Uchiha wants is someone in their head, thought Arrow. The person wouldn't be able to get much. But the fact that he could see anything was dangerous. Thankfully, Arrow didn't have to worry about that. It turns out that the patrols were divided into interior and exterior. The exterior patrols were given free rein but were not allowed to even interact with the interior patrols. He also discovered that the island was off the coast of Fire Country, which explained why it took them so long to arrive. Apparently this project started over 16 years ago. Aside from that, Arrow discovered that all the exterior patrols were trained civilians. So that means they knew their way around a weapon and a fight but knew nothing about chakra. That's smart, said Cat. Civilians are easier to manipulate and control than shinobi. The team were stationed a few ways outside the mansion. Arrow had been able to wipe the memory of the invasion from the patrol's mind. So right now their presence was still hidden. The flow of information is also a smart move, said Cloud. Whoever the wizard is, he is very good at covering his tracks. It is our job to uncover those tracks, said Cat. You guys got any ideas? I'm guessing we can't just pick a random patrol and have Arrow delve into their minds, right? Asked Sonic. No, too many things could go wrong, said Arrow. The mind may be stronger and I am not trained enough to handle that. Not to mention I don't think we can trust their minds, said Cloud. They would only know what the wizard wants them to know, so we're back to square one, said Sonic. That's just great. Maybe not, said Cat. I have a hunch as to who the wizard is. The boys were stunned. Arrow stared at her in shock. You've figured out who the wizard is? Cat nodded. 16 years ago there was an issue in the daimyo's household. According to what I heard, one of his sons started making power moves. Naturally the daimyo couldn't allow this, so he shut it down, hard. The issue was never brought up again and everyone moved on. All except the son, said Arrow. How was it shut down? No one knows, said Cat. The file in ANBU was, well, missing, so that means that the daimyo and Konoha are responsible for his misfortune, said Cloud. So we're dealing with a child throwing a tantrum? Asked Sonic. That appears to be the case, said Cat. He can't have Fire Country, so he wants to ruin it for his father. Actually, that gives me an idea. Wow, you really are smart, cutie senpai, said Cloud. Cat smiled. Oh, shut up. So what's the idea? Asked Arrow. The guy is used to being overlooked. I think he may be using that concept to his advantage, said Cat. He knows that the direct approach doesn't work. So it's possible he completely accepted his average role. Arrow and Cloud immediately caught on to what she was saying. Cloud actually laughed. They were both so proud of her. Sonic, however, was still clueless. But he knew that his friends were now operating on the same line of thought. Okay, can someone please tell me what's going on? Asked Sonic. In simple terms, we are not looking for the most guarded person, said Cat. We're looking for the guy no one will ever suspect, said Cloud. And how do we find that person in a mansion housing 60 individuals? Asked Sonic. In a place like this, said Arrow, our target will be in the messenger. Exactly, said Cat. Sonic blinked. Why would our target be a messenger? Simple, no one suspects the messenger. He is also the only one who has full access to the entire mansion. Said Cloud. After all, what more could he be doing than running an errand? I already have a lock on who that might be, said Arrow. I've been tracking the movements of everyone in the mansion since we arrived. Cloud raised an eyebrow. Wow, I didn't know you had stalker tendencies. Arrow twitched. I am not a stalker. Cloud's tone became sorrowful. Oh, you poor soul, you have no idea. Alright, that's enough, said Cat. Lead the way, Arrow. Arrow was more than happy to. They found their target in the mansion's library sorting out books. Naturally, the target had no idea he was being watched. The library had 5 others aside from the target, no guards in sight. At this point, Cat knew that they couldn't just grab him and run. Given how careful he has been, chances are he had a failsafe in place in case he was captured. As it turns out, the direct approach was their last option. If this was an assassination mission, they could simply kill him and walk away. However, their orders were to bring him in for punishment before the daimyo. That's definitely our guy, said Cloud. I've around enough aristojerks to know one when I see one. He also resembles the daimyo, said Cat, although I don't know his name. Last time I checked, our daimyo has 4 wives and 16 kids, said Cloud. I would be suspicious if you did know his name. Alright, so do we just jump down? Asked Sonic. Cat sighed. I don't like it, but yes. We need to be prepared. He may be alone now, but there are 2 high-level shinobi here. Cat was about to give the order when Cloud did something. Cloud decided to hang upside down from a wire. He then lowered himself sharply in front of the target. Hi there, screamed Cloud. Cat face-bombed. Sometimes Cloud was too much. Naturally, the target screamed, loudly. She was sure the whole mansion heard his high-pitched squeal. But of course, Cloud just had to keep talking. Wow, for a short fat guy you got lungs, said Cloud. Have you considered going into the glass-breaking industry? I am going to kill him, gritted Arrow. Oh, come on, Arrow, we were going down anyway, said Sonic. Cat suddenly had a thought. Arrow, Sonic, mask your chakra now, ordered Cat. The 2 shinobi are on the way here. You want to pull them into a false sense of security, realized Arrow. Cat smirked. There's no need for them to know we're all here. Cloud knew when he felt his team's chakra signatures vanish, his gamble worked. He knew Cat, so he knew she might use his move to her advantage. His captain was an ANBU agent. She operated best from the shadows. Of course, he could have always just shared his plan, but this was more fun. All he had to do is buy some time for Cat. He also hoped he could make the short stack confess. Bad guys love to brag. The name is Cloud. What about you? Asked Cloud. Akira could not believe his eyes. His mind kept running through all his plans and provisions. He couldn't believe someone had broken through every single failsafe. He knew his father had assigned an ANBU to take him out. But according to his sources, it was supposed to be a female with little experience. Just in case he was being played, he didn't trust anyone. He created contingencies. Yet someone, a child, had bypassed every single one of them. He was talking with him, comfortably, like he didn't have a care in the world. Akira knew that this guy was either incredibly strong or incredibly insane. How? Asked Akira. Cloud titled his head. In a confused tone he said, "Are you asking how my name is Cloud?" I have no idea. How did you find me?" "I'm sorry." "Who are you?" asked Cloud. "I just wanted to know where the bathroom was." Akira blinked. Was it possible he overestimated Cloud's intelligence? He was beginning to think the boy didn't actually know who he was. But was that possible? "You want to know where the bathroom is?" asked Akira. Cloud nodded animatedly. "Yeah, I'm pressed." Akira could feel his heart rate calm down. It seems his secret is safe after all. Now that he could think straight, he noticed that everyone had cleared out of the room. Just then a bird sang outside the window. It was a signal that his guards were here and waiting for him to call them. He was happy they didn't jump the gun. It was possible he could turn this his way. Taking a deep breath, he adopted a disarming smile. "We have a lot of bathrooms here." Cloud smirked behind his mask. Oh, the poor fool had no idea he was walking into a trap. He knew the guards were hiding behind him. He also knew that they had no idea his team was moving slowly towards them. It was times like this he loved the way Kat's mind works. He already knew her plan: sneak up on the guards and take them out swiftly. So Arrow will charge up an arrow and Sonic will coat his ANBU blade in wind chakra. The projectiles will be instant kills. He also fully expected her to use a heavy genjutsu just in case the guards were good. In the end, this will be over within 2 minutes or we will be in for a long fight, thought Cloud. All I have to do is keep short stack talking. Well, I just really need to use one, said Cloud. I haven't been able to go in 48 hours, Akira smirked internally. It seemed that while this ANBU was very good, he had a loose tongue. It was possible the strain of going to the bathroom plus him being just a messenger was dulling his senses. Oh well, he would use this to his advantage. He just had to keep him talking. But he will have to be careful. If the ANBU suspects he's being taken for a ride, he will probably kill him. You're here to kill my boss. Why should I help? You? Asked Akira. Cloud groaned as though in pain. He was having fun. Short Stack actually thought he had him. Look, your boss is not my target. I'm just here to deliver a message to someone. Akira had to physically stop a frown. This ANBU wasn't here for him. That explained why he was a child and not the female he expected. It meant that he didn't figure out his location, he was told. That also means one of his own people betrayed him. He could feel the rage build in his chest. Outwardly though he showed a happy expression. I am the mansion's messenger, why don't I help you deliver the message? Look man, I got to go. Are you going to help me or not? Asked Cloud. Akira knew he was losing him. He had to make him trust him. Of course I will take you to the nearest bathroom, said Akira. I was just curious as to who you're delivering your message to. When the ANBU went silent, Akira thought he was about to tell him. So he prepared to signal his guards. Once he had the traitor's name, his guards will dispose of the child. What he didn't know was that Cloud was counting seconds. He felt Cat Genjutsu set in, and sure enough a few seconds later both guards went down. Ah, I love it when a plan comes together, thought Cloud. Now what to do about this one? I will tell you if you tell me your name, said Cloud, considering he would be dead soon. Akira gave him his name. He was sure he will not be able to identify him. My name is Akira, said Akira. Now who are you supposed to give your message to? Cloud smirked. Yeah, about that. Akira nearly had a heart attack when his 2 guards dropped in front of him, dead. He then saw 3 other ANBU agents land next Cloud. One of them was female. The next thing he registered was Cloud knocking him out. That was awesome, said an ecstatic Cloud. Perfect teamwork guys. Cat sighed. Sometimes Cloud you are too much. Cloud blinked. I'm too much of what? Arrow rubbed his forehead in frustration. Who is carrying the target? Arrow-chan, his name is Short Stack, said an indignant Cloud. And Sonic is carrying him. Screamed Sonic, why do I have to carry him? Cloud blinked. Well, I'm not going to. Arrow has a quiver on,
and Cutie Senpai is our captain." Sonic's sweat dropped. "That logic makes 0 sense." Databayo, "Just another day in Team Ryu," thought Cat. Meanwhile, Uchiha compound. "Have you ever raided someone's closet before? Your goal is to uncover any dirt you can use. One of two fun things happens: you find nothing or you find more than you expected." Mikoto had discovered the latter. This morning she had broken into the elder's room. Her goal was simple: find something to add to her plan. She knew her plan needed something more. However, while snooping, she was having too much fun. She discovered a folder. It had been hidden and heavily encrypted. The only clear detail had been the names of the elders at the top. Her gut told that this document was exactly what she needed. She quickly used her Sharingan to copy it. That was 2 days ago. It had taken her this long to figure it out. When she did, she almost wished she hadn't. What the document said her clan, her family, did, she wanted to vomit. She refused to believe it was true. She knew it was childish, but she didn't want to believe her family was capable of such evil. She went to the only place that would either confirm or refute what she found. She asked a friend in the hospital to run some tests. The file was sitting on her kitchen table with one dreadful sentence: "DNA match confirmed." It was almost funny how 3 words could change her whole life. Mikoto almost couldn't believe these people were related to her. The lengths they went to for the sake of power were nauseating. As much as she wanted to grab all the elders and give them a sound beating, she was needed elsewhere. Breaking into her uncle's house was child's play compared to the elder's room. She already knew what to look for. Her Sharingan picked up on the genjutsu covering an attic door. She would admit to being nervous. This situation required delicate care. Upon entering the attic, she heard a scuffle. She made sure to keep her tone warm and caring. "I know that you're here," said Mikoto. Her sharp ears caught a gasp. Her welcoming facade nearly revealed her grief. She knew what her observer was thinking, and she cursed her uncle in her mind. Outwardly, though, she knelt at the attic entrance so as not to spook her observer. She had to somehow convince her observer that she was here to help and that it was okay. "I promise no one knows I am here," said Mikoto, "but I will protect you from them. My name is Uchiha Mikoto and I want to help you." She tried not to be discouraged when nothing happened. After all the observer had been through, Mikoto knew this was normal. She smiled warmly. "I won't leave here without you," said Mikoto, "but I will not make you come with me." A long moment passed before her sharp ears caught her observer's question: "Why?" Mikoto smiled. They were making progress. The question had been intentionally ambiguous, but Mikoto had planned for it. "I was snooping for something when I found out about you. I was displeased at what my clan has done to you. I am not here to give you pity. My hope is to make the best of a bad situation. None of this is your fault and you shouldn't suffer for it. Everyone deserves to be around people who love them, that include you." It took everything she had not to leap for joy when her observer came into the light. Any doubts she had about her parentage vanished when she laid eyes on the little girl. She stared into her steel-gray eyes with love. Fugaku was right, she had a bleeding heart. When they had started dating, Fugaku had constantly teased her about it. She couldn't help it. As soon as she laid eyes on her, she knew, this was her surrogate daughter. She still maintained her position, she didn't want to scare the little one. But she reached out her hand. And waited. Her heart tore when she saw the fear and suspicion in those eyes. But somehow the little one pushed those emotions back and walked towards her. She watched her slowly raise her hand, expecting to be rejected. Mikoto's hand, though, never dropped, and neither did her smile. When the little girl placed her hand in Mikoto, she couldn't help the tears that fell. She couldn't resist the urge to envelop her in a hug. "I promise I will never let anything bad happen to you. I will protect you no matter what." When Mikoto pulled away and saw the blush dusting the child's face, she laughed. She looked so adorable and she told her so.
When that passed, she led them down the stairs and towards the front door. That was when she felt her uncle nearing the house. She was still pissed at him. This was also a chance to kill two birds with one stone. The little one needed to know that she meant what she promised her. She knew the answer already, but she still asked, "Do you have a name, sweetie?" The girl shook her head. Mikoto's rage skyrocketed, but she didn't let it show. "Well, from now on your name is Haru." Haru blinked. The strange woman had saved her and now she had named her. She was sharp enough to see that Mikoto was enraged. Haru knew that they were waiting for her jailer. Mikoto didn't know it, but Haru already knew she would keep her safe. She knew this woman wasn't her mother. But she had a feeling she knew who her father was. The question is whether or not she would trust her enough to tell her. Regardless of whether she told her, Haru had already made up her mind. Mikoto was the only one who had looked for her. She was the one who had saved her from her prison. Haru knew that she would stay with Mikoto, for as long as the woman would allow her. Mikoto's eye narrowed dangerously. Her uncle had just walked into the house. She could see the emotions playing across his face: shock, rage, suspicion, and fear. Her uncle knew what she was capable of. She may have retired to raise her children, but she was not just a housewife. Part of her wanted to rip him apart. But she couldn't do that in front of Haru. "Nothing to say, uncle?" asked Mikoto. She was pleased when he cringed. Her tone was cold and deadly after all. She waited to see if he would try to justify his actions. She wanted to know why he and the elders had deemed this course of action acceptable. They had stolen a man's DNA, infused it into an Uchiha female, killed off the female after she gave birth, and were going to use the girl as a weapon. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. It was taking all her willpower not to start leaking Ki. There was a child present. "We did what we had to do." Haru could feel Mikoto's control snapping. She gave her hand a squeeze. When Mikoto turned to look at her, she said, "I'm okay." It was amazing what those words did. The rage dimmed from a furnace to a candle lit. When that happened, she realized that her uncle wasn't important anymore. But there was one thing she needed to know first. The answer will determine whether or not she became a widow. Did Fugaka know? No, only the elders. Mikoto nodded her head. She left without saying a word. Haru waited till Mikoto had calmed down to ask her, "Who is my father?" asked Haru. Mikoto stared at her. The older lady could already guess what the 9-year-old was trying to verify. She was as sharp as her father. She wondered what will happen when he finds out about this. She sighed, one problem at a time. His name is Hitaki Kakashi. After much discussion, arguments, Sonic was saddled with short stack. The rest of the team went through the entire mansion. They didn't find any documents or evidence of Akira's crimes. Just like they thought, Akira was thorough. They couldn't even find anything from the people in the mansion. Somehow, Akira had ensured the only one who knew anything of value was him. If it wasn't so annoying, Arrow would be impressed. Seeing as they couldn't find any hidden doors or anything, they were left with only one option. Cloud was all too happy to take charge of that. Cloud smirked happily. He flicked Akira's forehead painfully. "Wakey wakey shorts tacky," Akira groaned as he awoke, and found himself was sitting in the library. When his vision came into focus, he noticed he was alone with Cloud. The child hadn't even bothered to tie him up. Of course, Akira knew the only reason he was still here. It looks like his final contingency was still intact. Now all he had to do was hold out against an ANBU interrogation. He knew his father's orders prevented him from psychological torture. When it comes to mental torture, he was confident he could resist him. Cloud grinned devilishly when he saw how relaxed Akira was. He knew that Akira was expecting mental torture. Physically harming him was not part of their orders. ANBU always follow orders. What Akira didn't know is Cloud isn't a normal ANBU. What are you going to do with me? Asked Akira. Our orders are to deliver the culprit to the daimyo, said Cloud, and we have already done that. Akira scoffed, you expect me to believe that? Cloud titled his head. In a confused tone he asked, you expect your opinion to count? If you have your culprit, then why are you here with me? Cloud shrugged absent-mindedly, I was bored. Akira blinked, you were bored? Cloud nodded, this mansion is not as interesting as I thought it would be. Well, what's going to happen to me? Akira asked, if I'm not the one you want, can I go? Oh, absolutely. Cloud exclaimed. Akira couldn't believe his ears. He was getting away scot-free. He knew from experience not to completely trust anyone. However, the manner Cloud said he could go gave him pause. He stood up slowly, waiting for the catch. As he walked to the library exit, he turned back. Cloud was spinning a kunai lazily. Akira knew he couldn't just walk away. If he wasn't the culprit, then maybe he could get some information. Cloud was laughing hysterically inside. Akira was falling into a trap, but his pride and greed blinded him from seeing it. Cloud watched Akira walk back to him, his intention clear in his eyes. Short Stack thinks he can get me to spill, thought Cloud. What is going to happen to the culprit? Asked Akira. Cloud shrugged absent-mindedly, the daimyo promised the throne to whoever the wizard was. It took all of Akira's willpower not to scream. That had to be a joke, right? What do you mean? Asked Akira, I thought he was a criminal. Well, it's a sheet first off, said Cloud. Esiche, roared Akira mentally, and for her intelligence the daimyo has decided to appoint her his direct heiress. Pulling a scheme as huge and thought out as this speaks of a great mind. That kind of mind will be beneficial to Fire Country. How did you discover she was the wizard? Cloud smirked when he heard Akira's tone. Sometimes his level of skill was almost too good, not that Sasuke will agree. In a bored tone Cloud said, we interrogated the people in the mansion and she confessed. We didn't bother with you because you're just a messenger. Akira's rage skyrocketed when he heard that. As he watched Cloud stand lazily, ready to leave, he knew what he had to do. There was no way he was going to let some servant take the credit for his brilliance. From their perch, Team Ryu were enjoying popcorn and a show. They all heard Akira boldly proclaim, I am the wizard. Cloud waited a moment before dropping to the ground, laughing. Akira thought he was laughing at his admission. Cloud was actually laughing at how easy this was, but the aim was achieved. Akira felt he needed to prove his claim, prove he was the wizard. I can prove it, said Akira. Yeah, sure. Short Stack replied Cloud. Oh man, you are funny. I can show the documents I stole from the treasury, as well as the remaining cash. I even have the paperwork of all the accounts I robbed and what I used the money for. Ah, Short Stack wants to be a hotshot. That is so cute, Cloud cooed. Gritting his teeth in rage, Akira pointed to the library. All the information you need is in these books. Oh? Is that so? Asked Cloud. Akira nodded proudly, unknowingly sealing his demise. But you will need me to decrypt them for you. Cloud folded his arms coolly. So you expect me to take you and a library over the girl who confessed first? How do I know you don't just want the crown for yourself? That crown is mine, thought Akira, I can show you. He gritted. Cloud smirked, it was too easy. Cloud watched Akira pick a book, and the best part? The book was the key to decrypt the books. How dumb can you be? This is my code's manual, said Akira, it's written in an ancient language. So you mean to tell me that this is the key to decoding your library, said Cloud, and you are the wizard. Akira smirked, finally he was being recognized for his talent. That's correct. Cloud clapped happily. Well, why didn't you say so? I thank you for your cooperation. The second Akira registered what Cloud said, fear gripped him. He came to realize, he had been duped. Cloud had played him from the start. After all the effort that he had put into this project, to know that he was undone by a child irked him. The worst part was he could almost feel Cloud proudly smirking at him. The manual was still in his hands and he had one final play, to destroy it. Unfortunately Cloud had prepared for that, so before he could use a lighter to burn it Cloud stole it from him. Now, didn't your mother teach not burn books, chided Cloud, well short stack, it's been fun, but I need you to sleep now. Akira was enraged, all his hard work, BF ruined by a child who called him short stack. He had finally achieved his goal of forcing his father to notice him. He had become the feared wizard. Now all his hard work, everything was in shambles. Where did I go wrong? Cloud blinked. How should I know? Nighty-night, the team came down as soon as Cloud knocked Akira out. Kat had to admit, she was impressed. They had watched Cloud use Akira's pride and daddy issues against him. Arrow already knew Cloud was good at playing mind games. However, watching him use his ability for good was refreshing. Sonic was just plain excited. That was so awesome, Databeo. Cloud was stunned. You were actually able to follow what was happening? Sonic twitched. Yes I was, do I look stupid? Cloud smirked, you don't really want us to answer that question, do you? Kat smiled at the exchange. Alright, let's wrap this up. We need to handle the cleanup. That was the wrong thing to say. Sonic heard cleanup and interpreted it to mean, explosion time. Arrow and Cloud watched fearfully as Sonic grabbed his explosives and ran off. Why did you say that? Asked Arrow. Kat blinked, what just happened? Cloud groaned, you're about to find out. We need to grab Akira and get out of here, said Arrow, before Sonic kills us all. Wait, what do you mean by that? Asked Kat. Sonic is not crazy enough to kill us all. Cloud and Arrow used a large storage scroll to seal the books in the library. Then Cloud picked Akira up and took off with Arrow trailing behind. Their mannerisms started to put fear in Kat's heart. She knew Sonic as a sweet boy. There was no way he was going to do something so dangerous, right? She didn't realize she was running until she arrived at the latch. Apparently that was the right choice, because Sonic appeared a moment later, glowing with happiness. She watched Arrow, Cloud, and Sonic jump down just as the mansion lit up. What the dash, thought Kat. The explosion spread quickly to the whole island. She jumped down just as a series of explosions rocked the island too. Thankfully the explosions only shook the tunnels slightly. She turned to Sonic in fear. How many explosive notes did you use? Sonic scratched his head nervously. All of them? You used all your ANBU grade explosives. Why? Sonic pouted, well I have been dying to see them in action, Tabeo. Blondes, ugh, groaned Cloud. Kat finally realized why Cloud and Arrow ran away. Sonic was homicidal. She was beginning to wonder if there was some hidden quirk Arrow was hiding too. Shaking her head, she just rolled with it. Destroying the island was overkill, but there is nothing she can do about it now. She sighed, we should get going. We need to deliver Akira and the codes to the treasury. So, you don't think that Gigi will be mad we blew up the island, do you? Asked Sonic fearfully. Oh, he will mad for sure, said Cloud, but don't worry, I got your back. Sonic perked up, you do? Well of course not, I'm crazy, not suicidal. But you just said you have my back, bemoaned Sonic. There Sonic, who knows, he may not even be mad at all, said Cloud. XXXX, you did what? Roared Hiruzen. Yeah, so he's definitely mad, whispered Cloud. You don't even talk, gritted Hiruzen. Cloud blinked, what did I do? I was perfectly behaved. If looks could kill, Cloud will be dead. However, the little imp just smirked. You really shouldn't glare like that, someone might think you're having constipation. The absurdity of the comment caused his team to cough, just to hide their laugh. Sonic appreciated it though. Now when the Hokage turned his glare on him, it was less scary. Picturing the Hokage having constipation was so absurd it was funny. "Sonic, you want to tell me why you decided to blow up an island?" said Hiruzen. Sonic shifted nervously. "Curiosity killed the cat?" Hiruzen groaned when he heard Cloud laugh. These two boys were far too much. He had agreed to give them ANBU missions to avoid headaches. All the daimyo knew, thankfully, is that the wizard had been caught. The codes they collected were a goldmine. The treasury will be back on its feet in no time. That fact only added to his headache. It would have been easy to disband Team Ryu if they were incompetent. However, they found someone no one else could with barely anything to go on. Team Ryu, for all their craziness, is a great team. The problem is that they know it, too, thought Hiruzen. "Dear Kami, is it too much to ask to have them have a normal mission?" "So are we in trouble?" asked Cloud cheekily, "because we caught the bad guy, while maintaining our orders." If he could, Hiruzen would chuck both Cloud and Sonic to another universe. He actually willed it to happen for a moment. It didn't. "Come on Gigi, you can't stay mad at your awesome ANBU members, right?" said Sonic. "You have always been so kind, compassionate, and forgiving." "Yeah, exactly, so you just let us go," said Cloud. "I promise your blood pressure will come down." "Not that we take pleasure in raising it, of course," said Sonic. Cloud gasped. "Oh no, of course not." It took everything Cat had not to break composure. The look on the Hokage's face was priceless. He really looked like he was contemplating resigning. She had to admit though, her team was a handful. But she loved every second of it. As for Hiruzen, he was considering just what to do about these two. Just then he realized that he was Hokage, he could dump them on someone else. Perhaps watching someone else suffer will reduce the ache in his head. "Team Ryu is on break," said Hiruzen. "I want these three to report to the academy." Classes will have just started by now," said Cloud. "That is a brilliant idea." "Yeah, let's go see our fellow classmates." Sasuke sighed. "Can I take a sick day?" Dante blinked. "Sasuke, I thought your sick day comes at the end of the month." Hiruzen smiled sadistically. "No sick day, now off to class." Yugao smiled as Dante and Naruto dragged Sasuke off to school. She turned to the aging Hokage. Just before Team Ryu had been formed, she had been assigned a teacher. So far they had barely had time to do anything. Her senpai though seemed capable enough, aside from the cough. Perhaps while the kids are in school she could get some training in. "Hokage-sama, is Hayate-san in the village?" Hiruzen sighed. "Yes, he is." "Very well, by your leave Hokage-sama." "Of course," Yugao dismissed. "I really don't know how she handles them so well," thought Hiruzen. "Oh well, they're Irika's problem now." Academy Irika was just starting to get into the topic for the day when the door was thrown open. "Honey, I'm home." When he heard that voice, Irika cringed. When he learnt that Dante and his friends had left for remedial classes, he hoped it would correct his behavior. As it turns out, he was wrong. Irika was not the only one who was annoyed by their arrival. Shikamaru groaned on his seat. Sarutobi Dante had swooped into his life and turned it upside down. Information was Shikamaru's greatest asset, and all the information he could gather about Dante was inaccurate. They pointed to Dante as being this mild-mannered Sarutobi whom was loved by his clan. Dante was anything but mild-mannered. Troublesome is more like it. All his searches had led to more questions than answers. The worst part is Shikamaru knew Dante had planned for that. As the Hokage's grandson, any information on him will be classified. So if Shikamaru wanted the truth, he would have to work for it. If he wasn't so troublesome, Shikamaru would have admired his intellect. Looking at the class, he noticed Ino and Sakura staring at the boys. They were transparent in their desire to beat the boys at their own game. Troublesome girls, thought Shikamaru. Why did I even get out of bed this morning? "Oh yeah, my troublesome mother forced me to." "Good morning Iruka-sensei, you look well," said Dante. Naruto visibly appraised him. "Dante is right Iruka-sensei, have you been taking your vitamins?" Sasuke wished he could be anywhere but here. He already. What will happen? Dante and Naruto will test Iruka's patience. The Nara will analyze both their behaviors. While he may be able to assess Naruto accurately, Dante was too sharp. The Nara will only end up using more energy than he wanted, which was the point. The two girls staring at them like pack alphas gearing up for a fight will fight both Dante and Naruto. His friends of course will fire right back gleefully. The banter will upset Iruka and frustrate Shikamaru. That was the point, and leave the class confused. As it turns out, he was dead on point. Shocker, I know. Uchiha household. When Fugaku returned from his trip, the last thing he expected to see was a girl in his kitchen, eating lunch. She had white hair, steel gray eyes, and she was wearing Uchiha clothes. Apparently his wife had adopted a stray since he was gone. Just as he was about to question her, Mikoto walked in and completely ignored him. When he left, he thought the distance will snap her out this funk. During his trip he saw more happy couples than he was comfortable with. He was actually looking forward to coming home and having his wife there. However, she seemed more interested in the child than him. Fugaku was starting to think that he had done something wrong. Itachi only talked to him out of duty, Sasuke refused to talk to him period, and now his own wife was ignoring him. Not only his family, Shisui his own nephew preferred not to talk to him. In fact, he had to find out from eavesdropping that Itachi has someone he admires, Izumi. Where had he gone wrong? He remembered when he and Mikoto started dating, she was always so happy around him. His nephew looked up to him and so did Itachi. But as he looked around his home he realized, he was that person. Growing up he and his brother always hated that person. The person whom drives joy and light out of any place he enters. But he hadn't changed. Had he? He still loved his family, even Sasuke. Did they know that? That thought stopped him cold. His family had to know that he loved them, they had to. Everything he was doing was to make sure that they are safe and happy. Or so that his pride was stroked. He nearly had a heart attack when that thought entered his mind. He looked at his wife, he mentally willed her to look at him. He tried to remember the last time she gave him his smile. It's been years and I have been too busy to notice, thought Fugaku. Fugaku watched Mikoto laughing with the girl and his heart ached. All this time he thought his family was happy because of his actions. It was now he realized, Mikoto was the reason for laughter in his stare home. He had been neglecting his wife over clan matters that brought nothing but headaches. As if that shock wasn't enough, he finally recalled Sasuke's amulet and he realized just what his son had achieved. His son had created a crystal like the first Hokage. Dear God, what have I done, thought Fugaku unbidden. All the words he used against Sasuke came rushing back to him. He had called his own son useless. Yet despite the harsh environment Sasuke had thrived, his son had thrived. It was thanks to years of conditioning and training that he didn't drop to his knees. However, out of the corner of her eye Mikoto clearly saw what he was going through. She signaled Haru to give them a minute. When Haru left she focused on clearing the dishes. If her husband wants to talk he should talk. She would admit that she had missed him, but she deserved better. If he wants her back he has to mean it. Mikoto refused to answer him, even though his tone tugged her heart. She felt him walk up to her and try to wrap his arms around her. She slid away. It won't be that easy. Uchiha-sama, I am busy. Her cold tone hurt far more than he expected. Fugaku knew that he had to make amends. His pride would work for him this time. He refused to lose his family. This time he knelt down in front of her. He had to win his wife back. I'm sorry Mikoto. Mikoto took a deep breath. She was not going to let him off that easy. After all the pain he had caused she needed to know that this was real. But she could throw him a bone. She removed the ice in her tone. For what? asked Mikoto, what are you sorry for? For being a fool, said Fugaku, I have no excuse for treating you, Itachi and especially Sasuke the way I did. I never wanted to hurt you. Yet you still managed to do that. Fugaku cringed but soldiered on, I know and I am sorry. I let my pride blind me from what is right in front of me. I am not going to do that again, and how can you be so sure that you won't? Asked Mikoto. Because I have you, the honest reply did what the plea couldn't. Mikoto's eyes softened and glistened, you really hurt me and the boys. You treated Sasuke like he was a waste of your genes. Do you even know how times I had console Itachi after one of your talks? They are our boys, not weapons of the clan. Fugaku had never felt more ashamed. He knew he had a long way to go. The first would be to start being the person he was, the man who loved his wife and doted on his boys. Can you ever forgive this blockhead? Mikoto smiled despite herself. She had called him a blockhead for years before they married. The reason was, he never got her hints. It wasn't until she screamed her feelings for him that he got it. Fugaku had chased after her seeking her hand, but until she grabbed him and screamed her feelings out he thought she didn't want him. He was always a blockhead. Fugaku smiled, before he became serious again. Uchiha Mikoto, will you give this awful, terrible, foolish, jerkish blockhead another chance, please? Mikoto sighed, if you hurt me again Uchiha Fugaku I will kill you. I understand. She smiled playfully at him, buy me dinner, apologize to the boys and I'll think about it. Fugaku blinked, is that hint for something? This time she hit him, I forgive you, you blockhead. Fugaku smiled despite the pain in his shoulder. Standing up he saw his wife smile at him, it was his smile. He didn't realize how much he missed it until now. After a brief make-up session Fugaku asked who the little girl was. When Mikoto explained he was so happy he didn't know about it. His wife may be kind but she was deadly. But even he had to admit, the elders had gone too far. Watching Mikoto as she talked he noticed she was anxious about something. Was there more to this story than he realized? She's been with me for the past few days. Itachi has been away on mission and Sasuke is in remedial. Okay, is there something else? You seem nervous, Mikoto sighed. I asked Kakashi to meet me here. Oh, yeah, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Was the meeting Haru's idea? Asked Fugaku. He knew his wife. If Haru left to be with his father she will be hurt. She had such a tender heart. However, Mikoto said, no, I wanted to tell him. He has a right to know, but so much could go wrong. The couple were out in the patio cuddling. Fugaku pulled his wife closer. I'm here, what do you need? Mikoto smiled, it's funny how you come to your senses now of all times, better late than never, right? Said Fugaku. Mikoto looked up at him, just be here with me, okay? A few moments later the doorbell rang. Fugaku went to answer it while Mikoto went to find Haru. He had always been indifferent to Hatake Kakashi. Aside from the Sharingan Obito gave him, and his clan wants back, Kakashi was not on his radar. However, considering the bomb about to be dropped on him, Fugaku decided to be kind to him. Kakashi on the other hand had no idea what he was doing here. The only things we have in common is my Sharingan eye and the fact that Itachi is scheduled to join my ANBU unit, thought Kakashi. All the scenarios he could think of didn't fit. One thing he knew for sure though, this was going to be heavy. Fugaku as he showed him to the living room seemed mellower than he used to be. But when Mikoto walked in the tension in the room skyrocketed. Whatever this news was, he wasn't going to like it. Kakashi sighed dejectedly, so much for an easy day. The new book by Jiraiya was in his pocket just waiting to be read. Kakashizen, said Mikoto, yes. Mikoto had played this scene in her mind multiple times. She knew there was no way to make this news easy. But she didn't just want to rip the bandage off. Haru was in the next room listening to them after all. She did feel better when Fugaku sat next to her and held her hand. Turning back to Kakashi she said, a few days ago I found out something the elders of the clan did. At first I didn't want to believe it, so I had it tested in the hospital. As it turns out, I was right. The elders were interested in creating the perfect weapon. You are a Hokage, yet you have earned your nickname Sharingan Kakashi. They wanted to replicate that, for their benefit. Kakashi did not like where this was going. Mikoto carried on, they took your DNA and impregnated an Uchiha female. After she gave birth, they killed her and held the child hostage. As soon as I found out, I went to find her. She has been with me for a couple days now. I named her Haru, and she is your daughter. Once the shock passed, Kakashi was gripped by pure rage. Mikoto and Fugaku felt the ki rolling off Kakashi. It was scary. There was a reason Kakashi was in a class shinobi feared throughout the world. His age had nothing to do with the fact that Hatake Kakashi was deadly. They blinked and Kakashi disappeared. Where do you think he went? Asked Fugaku. To do the same thing I wanted to do, said Mikoto. He didn't want to see me. Mikoto turned to face Haru. She swept her in her arms. Your father has something he needs to do. He will be back for you, I promise. Haru wasn't so sure about that. She also wasn't sure she wanted him to. She had felt Mikoto's ki, but Kakashi's ki was far scarier. It felt like a dark storm, cold, precise and hungry. When she first laid eyes on him, she felt proud. He walked like a cat, graceful and silent. His eye appeared lazy, but she saw the intelligence hidden there. Mikoto told her that her father was a prodigy, and after seeing him, she believed her. He's scary. Mikoto smiled. Parents can be scary, but that doesn't mean they don't love you. Fugaku smiled at the scene. Mikoto had always wanted a girl. Perhaps they could try going for one. Before approaching them, he heard voices outside the house. It turns out Sasuke and his friends were back. It was time to make some amends. When they walked in and saw what was going on, Fugaku hoped they would not break up the moment. Yeah, he was very disappointed. Sasuke, so this is your girlfriend, said Dante. Oh, so that's why you are not interested in the girls at school, said Naruto. Sasuke twitched. She is not my girlfriend, you dolts. Dante rolled his eyes. Yeah right, so some random girl just happens to be hugging your mother. Yes, gritted Sasuke. Naruto, ever the friendly type, approached Mikoto and the girl. Of course he may have encroached into their personal space, but who knows? Hi there, said Naruto. Mikoto smiled. She was used to him. Haru, however, was still trying to process what was going on. She could tell from their postures that they were strong shinobi, though. They also seemed to be close. As she was doing her analysis, Dante and Sasuke were doing theirs. Dante knew that this had to be another ripple from his presence here. The girl was clearly not an Uchiha. Not only did she not look like an Uchiha, Sasuke, Itachi, Izumi and Shisui were the only young Uchiha members. The rest were adults. Sasuke wasn't sure what to make of the new girl. She seemed sharp though. Naruto blinked. Hello, is anyone home? Haru blinked and blinked. What kind of question was that? She was just about to ask when she heard, Kawaii, screamed Dante. She jumped when he also entered her personal space. Now she had two boys pressing in on her with cheeky smiles. Part of her wanted to kick them away, but she had barely seen them move. She was not strong enough to hit them. Also, she had a feeling they were trying to get a reaction out of her. If that was the case, then she didn't want to give them the satisfaction. She may not know them, but she wasn't about to give in to them. Dante smirked evilly. Oh, we're going to have so much fun, Naruto cackled. So much fun, Sasuke sighed. Mother, who is this? Mikoto gently pulled the boys away and ignored their pouts. Boys, this is Haru. Haru, that is my son Sasuke and his friend Sarutobi. Dante and Uzumaki. Naruto. Dante took her hand and knelt down. Fair princess, will you grant this gorgeous prince your hand? Haru blinked. You have hands. Naruto and Dante blinked. They turned in unison to Mikoto. She's sheltered. They roared when Mikoto nodded. The evil smiles that spread across their faces was alarming. Haru knew that they would try even harder to get under her skin. She wasn't about to let that happen. She may not know them well, but her gut told her one thing: they will respect her more if she held her ground. As far as Sasuke was concerned, it seems he was cool with her either way. Fugaku cleared his throat. He quickly regretted the action. "Oh, Fukuchan, is everything okay?" asked Dante. "Oh wait, that's right, the log has finally started to choke you." Haru blinked. "Log? She speaks!" exclaimed Naruto. "The log Fukuchan carries where the sun doesn't shine," said Dante. "Sasuke, I will like to speak to you," said Fugaku. Sasuke frowned. That sounded like a genuine request. Since when does his father ask for anything? Shrugging, he followed his father into the patio. Of course he knew his friends were eavesdropping. The best part? They were being obvious about it. Dante actually pulled out a box of popcorn. The shocking part was his father seemed okay with it. Something had happened, but what? Fugaku sighed. "I'm sorry, Sasuke." Sasuke blinked. "You're sorry?" "I have treated you poorly and I was wrong. I finally realize what the necklace around your neck means. It took time, but I've finally had some sense beaten into me." "More drama," shouted Dante. Sasuke turned to glare at him. "Don't you have somewhere else to be?" Dante blinked and missed this. "Are you crazy?" "Action!" roared Naruto. Fugaku smiled. "You found great friend Sasuke and you thrived in a hostile environment. I am proud of you." Dante gasped. He totally just said those words. "How will Sasuke react?" asked Naruto. "I wonder." Haru turned to Mikoto, whom was grinning, and asked, "Are they always like this?" "Yes, they are." Mikoto knew why they were doing this though. The conversation would have been awkward and tense otherwise. Sasuke truly did have great friends, crazy but great. Sasuke just sighed. Thanks to the background craziness, he didn't know how to react. He heard what his father said and he could see that he meant it. He had also noticed the ease in his mother's eyes. So clearly he was the second person Fugaku was apologizing to. The question is, will Sasuke ever trust his father? Asked Naruto. Will his father ever lose the log? Asked Dante. Will they ever have a good relationship? Asked Naruto. Will Haru ever marry me? Asked Dante. Haru deadpanned. No. Dante smirked. Do you know what marriage means? Pay attention to your friend. Sasuke sighed. Dad. He called him Dad, said Naruto. And Dante. Shut up, gritted Sasuke. Harsh, pouted Dante. If mom can forgive you, then so can I, said Sasuke. Hug, roared Naruto. Shut up, roared Sasuke. Log, roared Dante. What does log have to do with any of this? Asked Sasuke. Dante blinked. Log has something to do with this. Sasuke, why didn't you tell me? Okay, I'm hungry, said Naruto. Me too, said Dante. Sasuke looked up to the sky. Forgive me, one day I will kill my best friends, unless you're willing to knock some manners into them. Sasuke, how many times have I told you, don't plot murder before a meal. Eat first, plot murder later. Databeo, well, I guess that's a no. Please don't judge me too harshly when I kill them. That night every Uchiha clan member, aside from the clan head's family, Shisui and Izumi, who were away on mission, were found dead. The culprit left no trace of his presence. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Guys, make sure to help the author by visiting the link in the description. This is Fox Sage, and I'm signing off.